Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Hearthstone Ladder Climb. My name is Ikkaris, this is Ikkaris Gaming, and today is episode 24 of our series where we are taking a look at my Hearthstone gameplay as I try to climb all the way to Legend. So we're sticking with our Even Shaman deck that we've been running at the now that we've gotten up into a little bit of the higher ranks, up into rank 7. We've had some pretty good success with it and hoping to keep that going. So we're matched up against Paladin here. The only real competitive deck that anybody runs that's Paladin these days is pretty much just Odd Paladin and just going aggro. I've seen maybe some kind of weird mech Paladin or even Paladin sometimes can be out there, but we're pretty much assuming that we're matched up against Odd Paladin. And so we're going with the Primalfin Totem. Zap is big for the early game. The reason we held on to Hagatha there is to counter any kind of shenanigans with level up. It's a little bit of a gamble to hold on to Hagatha there, but if our opponent ends up with a board full of 3/3s off of level up and devotes a bunch of resources into getting it, you can then play Hagatha if you're still alive and hopefully win the game that way. So that's the logic behind holding on to Hagatha. Now we got extremely lucky there having the Sea Giant there right off the bat in our hand. You can see even on right away on turn 2 it's down to 5 mana. So we're just hoping that our opponent's just going to keep flooding the board, allowing us to cheat out that Sea Giant as early as possible. So we decided not to go for the Primalfin Totem here because it would just get punched down. It would only give us 1/1/1. We wouldn't get a lot of value on it. The logic here being try to put down a Saronite Chain Gang and then put the Primalfin Totem down behind it to kind of give a little bit of protection. And this is kind of the ideal hand, unfortunately, for our opponent. We're in not that great of a spot already. But the good news is we do get to drop a Sea Giant. We've got options with the Saronite Chain Gang. I think the best play there is probably just to go with the Sea Giant. If you can put one down, go ahead and do it, especially against the board where Odd Paladin really doesn't have anything. They don't have a lot of single target removal. That deck is based purely on just punch your opponent in the face as many times as you can. And so again, we've gone and flooded the board. This is starting to get a little bit spooky though, because we're assuming that our opponent's going to have level up. You typically, if you're running Odd Paladin, you love having this kind of board, especially going into turn 5. We don't really have anything to get rid of. We can get rid of one of these Silverhand recruits, but that's about it. So if our opponent does have level up, we're in a pretty bad spot here, especially because Hagatha won't be coming online for a few more turns. We do, however, have Saronite Chain Gang. Obviously play it out with the we're going to get rid of one of the Silverhand recruits. And the reason we use Zap there, even though it might not necessarily be needed, is just to try to minimize the value that our opponent can get off of level up. The win condition for the Odd Paladin is to do exactly this and drop a level up and just get a bunch of small minions, buff them up quickly, and then just punch you in the face. And you can see we're already down to 10 health, and we really don't have anything that will be able to help us here. Luckily we draw into Saronite Chain Gang, but even then it's we're not in the greatest spot here. Sometimes your opponent just gets a great hand, like they did in this case, so they're just gonna be able to blast through our Saronite Chain Gang, and we're just kind of hoping that our opponent doesn't have Fungalmancer, which of course he does, giving him exactly 10 damage for our 10. And so one thing that's been nice about doing these videos, and for the last few, we're on episode 24 now. For the previous episodes, we've had a lot of wins. We've had a lot of success going up against, some lower level players. We're now in a spot where, we're starting to lose. We're starting to lose more often. Not necessarily, a ton, but the games are getting tougher. There's when you're playing against higher level players, you're not going to win nearly as much as you are against lower level players. In this case, there's not really a whole lot that we could do there. Our opponent just flooded the board with all the little recruits, and then just buffed them up, and we just, unfortunately, Even Shaman just really doesn't have a whole lot to deal with that. There's no AoE to remove a mass board in Even Shaman, and we just weren't able to stay alive. If we were able to get up to, maybe to turn 8, we might have been able to do something with Hagatha, and then with some spells coming down, but, sometimes you just get aggroed. So hopefully that won't happen in the next episode, but come back and find out.